Okay. Welcome to Pretty Feeling Shitty. Reads you. What's this one called? Joe Biden, Wake Up. A Donald Trump x Joe Biden fanfiction. Chapter 1. Author's Note. Ladies and gents, all human of dignity, a note from your author. This is completely satire. Despite being American, I don't know all the details of the public or personal lives of the current and previous presidents. Who does? Only history buffs, I guess. So please, do not take this seriously, even if I maybe get a few facts wrong. Thank you, smiley face. Another thing I like to mention is that I hate working on a schedule, so don't depend on a new chapter as soon as a new one is released. So sorry. For the most part, I don't even know where my stories are going half the time. Chapter 2. Dirt Road. It was the summer of 1968. Joseph sped up a rural dirt path. What? A rural dirt road. Plumes of dust flung up from underneath the wheels of his split-fire muddying a beautiful dusky sky. Somehow he had gotten out of a dinner party at his parents' for the night, sneaking away amidst the Jesus, these are some fucking big boy words for a political fan fiction. Amidst the drudgery, I guess, after supper, and decided to take up an invitation to a party of her college buddies in the Hamptons. Graduation was Saturday, 3 weeks ago, yet his parents still churned out dinner after dinner solely to boast about their accomplished son. Being frank, the celebrations had become dull. The first couple times he could say were enjoyable. The people, the conversations, now they bored him to death. The same batch record replayed, a violin, cello, and these are some American words, twin. Trode? Fucking hell. In a dizzying dance, his suit began to feel strenuous. His shoes killed, and the perfume god-ever surface of the house was simply drenched in perfume. Not to mention how this repetitive show of uneventful nights had begun to make him want to wish away his entire existence. What he would do to not have to explain his major yet again to another dozen eager 60-something-year-olds. There's no doubt about the consequences of when he finally did decide to return home. He could imagine it now. His mother would answer the door, cool as a cucumber, and for the neighbor's sake, as she says, ask him inside before going jack crazy. And of course his father would be tucked away like a barn owl in the study, lights dim. He would be ordered by his mother to go and growl for his undismissible behavior. Being 25, you might think he felt quite liberated to finally cut ties with college, settling down with an amazing woman whom he loved. Find a job soon? But things felt quite the opposite. His parents looked pride in keeping him tied down like a puppet in their ventriloquist hands. They even made sure they kept him close by giving him the pool house. Wasn't that just dandy? Maybe he'd stay at the beach house of the coast for a few days or so. Call up... Oh god. Okay, this... Fucking hell. Call up Nelia, I think that's how you pronounce that, hopefully. His fiancée for company. That way his parents could no longer find any sensible reason in scolding him for a dinner party that happened a week before his disappearance. His shades threw the world into a cool-toned summer. Blues changing violet. Fuck. Violence? Where did I get violent from? Blues changing violet. The bright greens going dark. Richard, his pal since freshman year of college, mentioned something over the phone about a guy he had to meet. Said he'd introduce them at the party. He talked of him like he was some god. This guy, Joe, he said. You just gotta meet him. Apparently he had graduated this year, studied economics, and got a BS, sounded smart enough. But he hoped he was all the guy Richard amped him up to be in person. He was tired of the pussy-footed suck-ups dominating his class. The man's name did make him laugh, and of course, in his head, was associated every time upon hearing it with the infamous cartoon Duck. But setting the image aside, he was eager to meet the in-ticking personal. This in-ticking personal. Mate, I can't read for shit. Chapter 3. Evening Introductions. The grand facade of the mansion rolled into view, billowing clouds suspended above shaded with evening color. He parked in the driveway among other cars, all freshly polished and reflecting the sky like colorful mirrors. Though the weather had been nice for a couple days now, he suspected rain within a couple hours. A dark patch of sky growing off in the horizon presented itself plainly, a summer storm. Maybe it would stay there, gracing all with its intimidating beauty, perhaps travel closer and pour for a minute or so, or last all night. He had missed the rain. Music from inside the house twisted in the current wind, traveling for a while before dissolving back into a quiet landscape surrounding it. He didn't expect to know anyone at the party besides Richard, but wasn't here for leisure anyway. The party acted as a port in the storm being the wrath of his parents. Inside, soft jazz played and voices droned pleasurably. Somehow the party goers lacked demeanor. Mate, these American spellings are fucking me. Made him all the more rigid. Parties like these were social death sentences for loners. If you didn't have a long-term fuck, that is definitely a word I know, but it's spelled American. If you didn't have a long-term buddy, I'm not going to try and pronounce that shit, or at least one thorough acquaintance, you might as well leave. First-hand introductions are folly in the books of these people. But if you were ballsy enough to show up without either of those things, you might as well go on ahead since you're a rule breaker anyway. Joe! Richard's voice could be heard before he was able to spot him across the room. He wore a multicolored vest and in khakis, dressed down by a mop of brown hair. That's me. No matter what he wore, his jock aura punched through any level of formality. I thought you couldn't make it. How do I do Joe Biden? Hold up. Okay, just sound like you're constipated and you have a dick in your mouth, okay? Yeah, my folks have been pretty enthusiastic about graduation, he explained. But I was able to slip away. Where's this guy you've been pestering me about? He changed the subject as his friend gave him a playful pat on the back, then putting an arm around his shoulder began to walk him through the living room. All in good time, Joseph ran a hand through his hair, observing a room full of college grads and rich kids. You might think that because of his lifestyle, which most certainly sounded like the all-American born with a silver spoon and mouth pipeline, that he grew up well off. But see, that's where you would be very wrong. His father was a sales manager before he was born, which for a time proved to be profitable, leading his parents down a path of wealth. But his money was short-lived. Not long after he was born, his father lost his grip. The lucky streak was over, completely sinking them financially into debt. From then on, his parents pushed him to be the best in his classes, whilst his father scrambled to repair his crumbling empire. Though Joseph struggled, as he wasn't the brightest in the ranks, he still tried his best despite all this, though. I didn't have a single breath in that. Fucking hell. He graduated out of high school with exceptional grades, and was accepted into a college that would from there launch him into a world ready for his debut on the bottom of the money bracket. His entire life he took direction from his parents, did as he was told. For the degree, college was over now. A good life was his take. At what cost though? More struggling? More unhappiness? He only had one chance at being truly great. One chance to secure a comfortable life versus one that could go downhill like his father's if he wasn't to make the right choice. Fuck now. He wanted to be anything but his father, while at the same time felt lost. A black sheep being led with a crowd so unlike him. Overall, he was made of the same stuff as his peers, blood, bone, human DNA, but deep down, his coat was a different color, beneath the expensive ties and khaki pants, and he was tired of pretending. He was tired of this life that wasn't his. He felt like he needed a big change and fast. Before making the wrong choice and perpetually, there we go, was miserable. Dismally. Yippee. Jesus, I hate American English. Fucking hell, we made the language. I might as well just stick to it. Where are the boos? He asked. Where is this Joe Biden speaking? Where? I'm losing myself. Where are the boos? That sounds like posh rich kid British shit. Okay. He asked warily, not wanting to bear the heavy weight of his thoughts any longer. At the bar he ordered gin. Richard watched him as he downed the glass and requested another. Oh, forgot to ask. Me and some of my buddies are getting away to Italy for a few weeks. My father gave me the keys to his villa. Now I get that you're a busy man, but you should really consider joining us. He wasn't the spontaneous type. Well, I'll think about it, Richard said when he didn't answer. If you want to bring Nelia, I'm just gonna say Nelia from now on. I don't give a fuck about American history. If you want, bring Nelia. We leave this Tuesday. Would it have killed you to give me any further notice? Well, if it isn't Richard Nelson, suddenly an unfamiliar voice broke the conversation. Donald! Richard greeted a man whom Joseph was sure most could agree wasn't a looker. He had beastly features, bushy eyebrows, a wide jaw, and short blonde, wind-tousled hair. Nonetheless, carried confidence in his stature, as any slight move he made simply existed. Appeared not at all harrowing thing, and something in his tone of voice was demanding. Cool, all business. Okay. I wonder who that is. He turned to him and reaching out a hand, introducing himself. Okay. Joseph, is it? He was sharp as well. Yes. He shook his hand. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, said Donald. That's a terrible accent. I know, you're just gonna have to deal with it. Likewise. I was just mentioning to Joe our upcoming trip. And will he be joining us? Donald asked, looking at him expectantly. He'd much rather be settled into his very own cubicle by now, I'm afraid. He joked. Joseph eyed him, giving him a look which insinuated the humor had not been appreciated. He got the messages, replacing his overbearing voice with a grin. He was like a dog. Say sit, and he sat. Roll over, he did. Stay, he obeyed. What? He obeyed. There we go. But all the while, wouldn't be able to contain his wagging tail for the life of him. Who's saying this? Okay. I don't know. I've been pretty busy after graduation and all, he explained, digging his hand into the deep pockets of his trousers. Come on, man. Don't be boring, Richard snuffed, then said to Donald enthusiastically, if anyone can convince him, it's you. Donald looked at him, observing him as though a project ready for progress. I've known him for 5 years now, and not even my opinions can sway him, Richard continued disappointedly. That's because you're a wuss, Richie. Donald threw in the pet name to soften the jab. Walk with me, Joseph. That is such a bad accent. Surprised, he looked at Donald, eyebrows raised. Sure. His assertion caught him off guard is all. He had never met a man like him. One who demanded a kind of attention people returned whether they liked it or not. They slipped outside to the balcony overlooking the water. Chet Baker played somewhere in the near distant. Chetty's fucking hell, I cannot read. Chetty's lullaby, making for a refreshing fucking blow my brains out. They slipped outside to the balcony overlooking the blah blah blah, making for a refreshing atmospheric blend of warm a warm evening wind and a rose-colored sky. For a moment he let himself take in everything around him, tuning out everything troubling just for a moment. Seagulls squawked overhead. Wings outstretched, the feathers feathers rustled freely. He thought being one might be liberating, nothing to do but ride the simple wave handed to him, taking it with a dialed-in sense, preparing them for everything that may come in their little lifetime. Where did you go to school? Donald asked, very laid back, leaning against the concrete. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce that one. You can go fuck yourself. In this light, he almost looked handsome. In a rugged kind of way. Joseph looked into his glass, nearly empty. Wharton University. Old Wharton, what's your major? History and political science. I also dabbled in art, he added passively. But, turned out to be rather unimportant. Are you a creative, Joseph? He shook his head shyly. No. Really, it was stupid of me to indulge in the arts. I'm not good at it. My father encouraged me to take up practice as a lawyer, which was a good thing. I don't know where I'd be otherwise. He used the word encouraged as though he had a choice. Haven't all our fathers? He smiled. This surprised him. And in a way he was relieved. For once someone didn't just understand, but verbally express their frustration. And by saying this, he revealed the very desire of rebellion deep within him. Everyone in this house understood the feeling, the only problem being their frustration went on unaddressed. They didn't dare stray from the paths their fathers and mothers spent an entire lifetime tirelessly arranging for them. So they bottled up frustration, ignoring it in hopes of going on living without needing to confront their daunting, fast-approaching realities. So you're from Pennsylvania? Yeah, Scranton. I visited Pennsylvania once for a funeral. Dreadful weather. But I'm sure it isn't always so. Don't you find it strange how funerals always seem to fall on the dreariest days? I have, yes, but Pennsylvania is always bleak. He leaned over the balustrade, the concrete. Frick, I can't read. He leaned over the concrete, setting his glass down. From my personal experience, the best days there were spent anywhere as far away from the city, hiking trails, abandoned buildings. I was never the outdoorsy type, Donald said, observing a small group of guests who had taken to dance. Dedicated to You by John Coltrane, fuck me, I cannot read, played, and it sounded like colors and the softest silk wrapped around your skin. Joseph looked at him, caught in a glow of evening light, then said, "We should go camping sometimes. I promise it'd be worth your while." Donald's eyes shifted, following along the line of his gaze. "You wouldn't want my company," he said. "Trust me, I won't have the slightest clue as to what I'm doing. I'm a good teacher." Donald was silent for a moment, looking away, perhaps reflecting on his own thoughts. Really, there was no telling what went on in his mind. "On one condition," he declared finally. It didn't surprise him that an answer as simple as yes or no would suffice him. "And what is that?" he asked. But the sly grin on his face already told him far before words came. "Come to Italy." Chapter 4, To the Villa. How much chapters are there in this? 6. Okie dokie. Ow! Fuck, that hurt. Okay. For a moment he stared out into the sea. Boats bobbed tranquilly within a brine of salt water, their white sails billowing. I can't read, bro. I can't read words. This is my that arc. He looked at Donald, looking at him, and chewed his bottom lip. Maybe this could be the perfect opportunity to get away. He knew it would. Now a matter of commitment stood between his fleeting anxiety and freedom from his blood-sucking parents. So with some hesitation, he finally said, "What the hell, why not?" "Yeah? Yeah, why not?" He shrugged. "Good man." Donald smiled, clapping him firmly on the back. Oh, he's going to be clapping his back in a second, I can tell you that much. Joseph shook his head, surprised at being talked into going halfway around the world by a guy he had only just met. But Donald treated him like a well-respected old friend, and he felt a certain comfort only such friends might feel in each other's company. Jesus. Which made it nearly impossible to say no. He not only was cursed, that's not... I'm guessing it's meant to say curious, but they missed a U about him, but wanted to find more excuses to talk to him, like they had just done, in a pleasantly warped moment with an ambiguous It's not even a complicated word, man. It's not even a complicated word. In a pleasantly warped moment with an ambiguous existing, there we go, warmth sprouting within him, and Donald's tranquil conversation taking him away. "Maybe you should become a lawyer," Joseph laughed. "You really got the upper hand on me." "Nah," he shook his head. Joseph sensed something about the tilt irked him. "No?" he asked, throwing back the last of his drink. "Only a few drops." Then what do you want to do?" "Frankly, I'm not sure yet. For now, I just want to enjoy life, escape all the crappy agendas those work junkies keep shoving down my throat. But you get that," he adds pointedly. This was before he became business-minded, of course. Joseph looked at him. Quite literally and figuratively, they were young, fresh out of college, had some money to spare, maybe for them. Right now, there was nothing more to life than being lazy in a foreign city. "Right," Joseph agreed. Time skip. Fuck, okay. Tuesday comes, and just like that, he's jammed between two total strangers on an economy flight to Naples. I thought this said nipples, I'm gonna be so real with you. It's 2 hours in, and the man to his right was dozed off and is snoring obnoxiously. Thank God for earplugs. They existed back then? What? Joseph didn't travel much. When he did, it was usually to the West Coast for nearly his family on holidays. The farthest he had been was Hawaii on the family vacation years ago. They were the model tourist, Hawaiian shirts, board shorts, thickly slathered sunscreen, a painfully cliche yet inevitable existence. Fuck. They had fun anyways. He hadn't gone on many vacations as a kid. Workloads became too demanding at a time for his father. Oh my fucking god, just fucking kill me. Okay, where was I? I lost where I was. Inevitable existence. They had fun anyway. He hadn't gone on many vacations as a kid. Workloads became too demanding at a time for his father, and because he ardently discouraged his mother to work, her Christmas dinner parties were as close to any tropical getaway he would get for a decade or so. Joseph searched about the plain cabin for Donald's daddy blonde hair and spotting him 5 rows up from it. I'm fucking struggling here, man. I'm fucking struggling. From its motionless appearance, he assumed he was sleeping. Maybe he should have done... Oh my god, that's not even close to the word on the fucking screen. Fuck. Maybe he should have been as well, but didn't feel tired. He took a pocketbook out of his carry-on bag after rummaging a while. I read the words properly, it's just my brain didn't register that. Oh my frickety frickety. Just one of those scrappy science fictions by an author whose name you'd probably never see again, and began to read. Maybe at 2 hours in, he fell asleep. Not nipples, in Naples. He was woken up by the stranger to his left, a middle-aged woman who seemed to be solo traveling graciously at her own leisure, and dressed in a flowery aqua blouse and white chinos, I think. He nodded to her, a bit dazed, and wiped the corner of his mouth quickly as he realized his embarrassment. Then he had been Come on. Okay. He was woken. Oh, no, wait. Where was I? Fuck. That he had been drooling. Thankfully, she didn't pay any notice. Fuck. He threw together his things quickly as people were beginning to on board, and followed the crowd kill me. The crowd of filtering slowly off the plane. Yo! In the terminal, he had Richard call, and turned to find him in the crowd with a hand waving in the air. He went to him. "Welcome to Naples." He smiled, but they were hardly in Naples. Still looks like nipples. The airport held nothing of cultural substance. "Where's the rest of our party?" he asked, turning to scan the terminal. "Donald's gone to the men's room, as for everyone else, He paused, searching. "There they are. There we go." He's looking ahead where the That's not how you spell remainder. At least I hope that's not how you spell remainder. In America, that's how you spell remainder in America. I'm going to kill bro. Remainder is how they spelt it. I want an American to say if that's how you spell it there. Of the flight was onboarding. 3 others had tagged along. A nice young couple, Donald's friends from college, and the girlfriend's girlfriend. "Ciao, Bella," exclaimed Richard. And how are these gorgeous foreign travelers? There we go. Oh, Richard says to the girlfriend, please tell me he won't be like this the whole time. Says to girlfriend's girlfriend. Looking at Joseph, Hope. Fucking sick of this shit, man. Looking at Joseph, Hope is. Okay. Maximum effort. Looking at Joseph, hopelessly is not that hard, Brit. Lock the fuck in. I can't promise anything. He replied her name was Maggie, and the couple William and Julie. These OCs? What? He grumbled. Not if I can help it. Is that a threat, my dear? Richard raised an eyebrow in delightful amusement. It is, she replied, tucking belongings away within her purse. And not the kind you'd like it to be. Maggie? Oh, no, that's a gasp, not a fuck. Maggie? Gasped Julie, giggling. Richard said, don't be so perverted, shoving his hand in his pocket. Oh, please, replied Maggie. Donald's back, interrupted Joseph, and glad. It's just gladly. It's not that hard of a word to say, mate. And gladly before their little squirrel. Holy fuck, I'm dumb. Became a full-blown screaming match. Thank God, let's get out of here, said Richard. I can't with fucking reading, twin. I am de-evolving as we speak. I can't stand. I can't. Fuck's sake. I can't stand crowded places like these. Surely I'm claustrophobic. Well then, let's hurry. Oh my fucking God. I need to learn how to speak English. I need to speak English, please. Let's hurry, replied Maggie a bit sarcastically, and led them impatiently through the room where there's no fuck. Grrr. And led them impatiently through the room where in the middle, they conjoined forces against MacDonald. It's... I've got a Glock in my Rari. 21 okay. Fuck. Oh, where was I? They can join forces again with Donald. Then make their way out to the baggage claim. They took a crowded shuttle to car rentals. That is a word with more than 6 syllables. Mediterranean? What the fuck is Mediterranean? I am going to kill a family of 6. Weather is beautiful, warm, and breezy. No. We're gonna be here for like 6 years if I try and pronounce that one. Donald had rented a cherry red convertible, a Mercedes, which is a bit showy for any of their tastes. That's right, said Richard in the middle of some recollection. A college tale that had been... Wow. Okay, I'm not used to speaking for this long. In the middle of some recollection, a college tale they had been enthusiastically discussing on the way to the car. Joseph hadn't been there to witness it, and was listening to the story as he pulled his suitcase and one of Maggie's along. Why am I struggling? I haven't even said the word yet. One of Matt. I've already read that word. You see, this is why I will never have scripted videos. And one of Maggie's along behind him, she had dreadfully overpacked. Ended up not being able to carry everything. Richard had another one of her bags. Oh, no, I am saying that right. Talking his mouth off as he tugged along. I'm also tugging along, if you know what I mean. Tom got put in the slammer for running too slow. Remember that, Will? Will? And I had to go... Oh, are they saying words now? What? Huh? Oh. Huh? Okay. Tom got put in the slammer for running too slow. Remember that, Will? Will and I had to go down to the police station that same night and bail him out. No one else was going to. A real cruddy part of town as well. Cost me $5,000. Of course, I remember, replied William. Well, I said it correctly! Oh my days, even when I say it correctly, I still say it wrong! Replied William. Okay. That good-for-nothing son of a bitch. He spat. Julia elbowed him close enough. Him harshly. Will! He snapped. I can't. Every fucking time. She snapped. There we go. Hey, the titles make themselves, he shrugged. That half-wit cost... Come on, you've got this, Brit. I believe in you, it's a 2-syllable word. That half-wit costed us near 50 grand altogether. Then he said... Oh my fucking god, I'm going to kill a family of 7. Then he said... Then he said sourly... Oh no, my debit card. He crashed my yacht. Let me pick up my debit card just in case I lose that bitch. Yoink. Yippee! Okay. A few years back, the little shit still hasn't... Still hasn't... Where was I? Still hasn't paid me back for the damage. That blows, said Joseph. William looked over at him hostilely. Close enough, you get what I mean. Oh, tell me about it. He was being painfully sarcastic. Because he can't, interjected Donald. Who's got 50 grand lying around? I'll tell you, definitely not Tom. That boy's not like you and I. Give it up, brother. It's not gonna happen. Downright shame is what it is. Not exactly benign, but you don't... Oh, fuck's sake. Not exactly benign, but you don't... It is 2 syllables. I can't read 2 syllables. But you don't need the money anyway, you filthy dog. Cash is cash. Can never have too much of it. Right, greedy bastard. And in the respectable words of John Kander, money makes the world go round. Ba-da-da-da. Chapter 5, Spilling Stars, motherfucker. How much? Okay, so if... It's actually a pretty short chapter, actually. I see, okay. Okay. If I don't see sex, because the description said steamy sex, if I do not get to read that out loud, and I had to struggle through all of this reading for nothing, I would be livid. Okay. God, I'm jet lagged. He slid the palm of his hand down his face, even as the cool wind tousled his hair, and beautiful golden and green fields rippled and fell in a scenic display of Mediterranean bliss. He couldn't help but only want a comfortable bed to fall into. He figured he would explore enough on this trip, but today was for rest. Today was for the wanton. Okay, here we go. Wanton Adderall. There we go. I've got stronger stuff too. We thought we'd go clubbing tonight. Might not want to miss it. No thanks, I'll sleep it off. You sure? Yeah. Who's talking right now? I'm so confused. Would you look at those clowns? Gasped Julie, over the tearing wind bracing her in the backseat. She wore dark sunglasses and a silken scarf fastened around her dark hair. There we go. She pointed out to the horizon at a cluster of rolling white clouds defined by dramatic gray shadow, like something out of painting in such detail. Looks like rain, said Donald over the noise. Bummer. She pouted. Maggie smiled pleasantly. I think the rain will be wonderful. You're from California, of course you think that, replied William. Maggie stuck out her tongue at him. Like siblings, those two are. Like a couple of silly children. We got to the villa in half an hour. In a half hour. Same fucking thing, move on. A beautiful estate high on a rocky slope overlooking the coast. Grand white and blue shutters, rugged gardens. Everyone shed their luggage at the foyer and dispersed into the house in awe. If you plan on sleeping, I can show you to a room, said Donald mildly. His hair was windswept. For his coral pink cotton shirt undressed. Yeah, thanks. Follow. He began to walk, leading him down a bending hall. Joseph followed rather sluggishly. Through the dark, soft colors and high ceilings, he had taken off his shoes, and tiles felt cool under his feet. 2 syllables. Okay. Smooth, he felt like he was floating within a daydream. Infinitely Oh my fuck. The moment we get to the actual sex part, it's gonna take 3 decades. Yeah, we're fucked. Infinitely pleasant and mild. This place is beautiful, he said, looking up at frescoes changing before him. Scenes of open lazuli? Close enough. Skies adorned with spilling stars. Angels in boundless silks and endless heaven. Oh my fucking god, I just want to read Joe Biden x Donald Trump fanfiction and not have to fucking read. Anyway. It is a boundless silks and endless heavenly depictions. It is. I've been meaning to come here more often, explained Donald, but until now I haven't had the time. He stood in front of the tall blue door, the same blue as the shutters on the window. Well, here it is. I need fucking water, Quinn. Holy. Yeah. I'm still looking my fucking shot. Fuck. my fucking throat hurts, twin. Ow. I'm not meant to speak for this long. Normally Zach's here and he bullies me. I bully him, mostly. I edit the videos, I know who I am. Okay. Kill me. Where was I? Oh, there we go. Joseph twisted the handle, pushing the door open. The room was proportionately as wide as the windows were tall, only on a grander scale. As everything... Why do I feel mass amount of deja vu? As everything was in this house, white curtains afloat in the wind. A bed with soft lining. Fuck. Freshly made, and the air smelled of salt. It was heaven. Close up all the shutters if you want. Thanks, man. He brushed past him, putting him on the shoulder. No problem. Stepping further into the room, B saw the water. That is actually how it's... Look, me not being able to read is one thing. You not being able to write makes me not be able to read, and it makes it very hard. It makes me hard. I am soft. I like turtles. Fuck. Okay. Stepping further into the room, B saw the water of the horizon through the window. Rising far from the coast, a big shimmering body with a silk woven with silver flecks. A lemon tree is framed in one window. Its ripe yellow fruit contrasting with the blue waters, the green grass. The door shut behind them softly with a hollow thud. The curtains float. That's a 2-syllable word, and I don't even know how to pronounce it. Posed above them, I guess? Sure, why not? And space. He goes up to a window, the sun hitting his face, and for a moment he stood there. Like a plant in photosynthesis. Then he goes to bed, warm. Why is it so hot in here all of a sudden? I'm just reading. Why is it like all of a sudden like everything is hot? I need like a fan or something, twin. Fuck me. I'm like burning calories reading this. Then he goes to bed, warm and in daze. When he finally woke up, it was completely dark outside. For a moment, he had forgotten where exactly he was, but soon realized. Getting out of bed, he stepped out of his room. The hall now completely dark, almost daunting. A catacomb. Thick shadows through moonlit pools of light stretching over warm terracotta walls. His hand traced it, sandy and smooth, and in the touch, ever so slightly uneven. Natural, he wandered through the dark for a while, at times succumbing to a quiet, eerie stillness. He would make a left turn, walk on for a while, and go right on the next split in his path, feeling trapped in a maze. Sooner or later, he stumbled into the kitchen. Fuck me. And seeing it for the first time, let alone in the moonlight, which spilled onto the countertop, and cupboards, felt strangely alienated. Everything was still, and eventually spotted a note on the end of the counter. He looked it up, reading, "Come out, we'll be back by morning. XOXO, Julie, William, Maggie, Donald, and Richard." Holy fuck, I feel like I'm gonna like fucking pass out from reading. Ugh. It was definitely written by one of the girls, but more likely Julie, as the note said Julie and William. and it was done in red and in an excessively decorated cursive hand. Setting the note down, he slowly looked out the window. Deserted hills stretched out for miles, muttered golden and green. He was feeling a bit lonely, only because the place was so foreign and the house so big. He couldn't feel it for very long though. His stomach complained loudly, and he felt the gnaw of hunger ushering him to look throughout the kitchen for anything to eat. I need more water. Fuck me. This is too much Brit voice coming out. Too much Brit voice. Too much Brit voice for one day. Too much Brit voice. Okay. Fucking hell. He ate a plate of scrambled eggs and sausages under a sky bursting with stars. Stars, fuck. They spilled over the hill, pouring like 1 million falling pearls over a wealthy lady's Unnecessary? The night was mild. Everything was perfect. Hours passed. He waited with leisure, reading a bit here and there from books he found about the room, going in when the night reached frigid. Here we go. Please tell me but 6 happens. I'd be very disappointed if it doesn't. Somewhere in between the morning hours, when all of Naples slept and the birds rustled their feathers to awake the begin singing, he fell asleep on the living room couch. Joe, a voice woke him softly. Holy fuck. Okay, power through, Brit, power through. It's just words. Somewhere in between the morning hours, I read that part. Joe's voice woke him softly, and then he opened his eyes. Saw the girls were huddled over him. He squinted up at the image. Maggie giggled. Julie was as well. They had been drinking quite a lot and looked completely wrecked. Wake up. They smelled heavily of booze. Holy fucking shit. Okay, where was I? I said leave. He said leave him alone. That was William whispering pests. When did you call me? Julie asked hotly, snapping around, hair whipping her in the face, her nose scrunched and animalistically. Animalistically, along with the entire mid-region of her dollish face. No answer from William. She turned back, said, "Alright, we'll leave you to rest," patting him comically on the shoulder. At this point, he was well awake, though, so he sat up, stretched. So he sat up, stretched. One time, he yawned. Maggie was withered into a ball on the floor, unable to keep her eyes upon William. Came around into the room from the kitchen, lifting her. Sam, she was placed on the couch opposite him, going completely limp. Is she okay? Asked Joseph, sitting forward in concern. William was now throwing a cover over her shoulder. Yes, had too much to drink, is all. And Donald, where's he? William shrugged. Probably went to his room. He was pretty out of it as well. Joseph got up, stretching again. I'll be back, he said, then wandered out of the room. He widened into widened hallways. He searched the bathroom after finding it, and using his amenities, he came across another door just across the hall. He noticed he hadn't actually been in his part of the house. Now that he looked around, all of the corridors looked the same. More or less, out of curiosity, he opened it, peering inside. A room lit from before dawn glow. More white curtains billowing softly in a thin breeze. Here was another bedroom, and in the bed lay Donald, head down in his sheets. He was motionless, all except for a steady rise and fall of his hunched shoulders. One more chapter, Britt. One more chapter. He'll be okay. This one's called Foul Play. Is there sex? Is there sex? I think sex happens. I'm not sure. I can't read. I think sex happens in this one. Okay. Yippee! Sex. This one's called Foul Play. Oh fuck! It's way too fucking long. Oh. I don't wanna read it. I don't wanna. Okay, Britt, time to lock the fuck in. Okay. They had a late brunch sitting around fuck off with that word. You can piss the bed. Sun-bleached wooden table on the terrace. He was the only person not hungover. Though William held up impression of I need cum. I need it. I need it in me. They had a late brunch sitting around the okay, I'm not reading all that again. No, though William held up impressively well, despite being more irritable than usual. Donald joined the brunch late, coming out the back door wearing a white chino shorts and button-down shirt. He looked absolutely haggard, but still possessed something charming. Possessed something charming about the way he sat without a word, hunched over his plate with his arms on the table. Fuck off. Recuperating. There we go. Richard didn't come to brunch at all, but slept straight through it instead. Pass me the salt, dear, Julie asked Maggie politely, squinting and looking like a chicken whose feathers had been ruffled. Meanwhile, William stared off into the hills, eyes blocketed by the dark pair of shades. Seems like you guys had a ball, Joseph smiled, amused by their dramatics, I think. I don't fucking know. All slipping on an espresso. That's a Sabrina Carpenter reference. Yeah, Donald retorted. Too bad I don't remember a thing. He finished dryly, reaching over and spread to scoop marmalade from a pot into a piece of toast. Now Julie spoke up, saying, all I can remember, and of all things, is how the room began to spinning and spinning, and then nothing. Poof, blackness. You sound narcotic, said William. Whatever, she replied, and William began in a jaded manner. She's never got past being buzzed, so blacking out for her was quite the anomaly. Will you two please not begin arguing? I couldn't stand it, Maggie spoke hoarsely. I think that's what that was. Worse for wear. Fucking hell. Yes, agreed Donald. Don't start your belly aching now. I'd like to have a peaceful afternoon. Anything in particular planned for today? Asked Joseph. He, on the other hand, feeling quite refreshed. Well, it doesn't seem like anyone's up for much of an itinerary, but there's a creek I can show you a little later if you're up for it. I know how much you're fond of the outdoors. You make me sound like a tree hugger. No use in denying it, Joe, he quipped with a grin. And so later that day, the two of them set off on a dirt trail, the pace set by Donald, who was still on the mend and taking each step at a painfully leisurely pace. They talked very little, caught up in a quiet countryside and the heat. When they reached a thicket, Joseph could hear trickling water. Donald stopped, raising a hand to shield his eyes from the sun. Looks like it might rain, he observed. Joseph looked up in the same manner, seeing only a clear sky apart from a few clouds. Shall we go back? Nah, we should be fine, he continued into the shade. He followed, and within a few yards settled before a grassy downhill slope stood a creek of crystal clear water shimmering under a filtered sunlight coming down through the trees. Leafy canopies, I guess. I don't fucking know. Wow, he exclaimed, and they removed their shirts and shorts, plunging into the cool, shallow water. Finally, some fucking sex. Holy. They swam the whole afternoon until the sky became dark and the wind carried the smell of the rain to their once pleasant escape from the sweltering sun before it could come down. They quickly got dressed and returned to the trail, trying to beat the rain, but were too slow. In one moment, thunder drummed through the vast graying sky, and the next there was a downpour so heavy it drenched them through and through. Donald began to run, and he followed suit. They're not really minding getting wet all that much. You're gonna get fucking wet in a second, I can tell you that much. Fucking hell. Okay. It's not even like late. It's like 4 p.m. Why am I yawning? When they reached the villa, Donald held open the door. He trudged into the foyer, wet sandals squelching. Follow me, he said, sniffling and placing a hand casually on his shoulder for a brief moment. Joseph looked at him, still out of breath from the hike, in account of his short-lived fatigue. He said nothing as he followed him into one of the house's bathrooms. Inside, it was furnished with a clawfoot tub. His and hers of fuck. Okay. Almost done. Let's go. Fuck, it's a long paragraph. Who was I? His and hers. Donald closed the door softly and locked it behind them. It was spacious and relatively empty, otherwise, with blue and white tile floors and a radiator against the wall near the window. Here, he said, tossing him a towel, and began to undress. You can dry your clothes on the radiator here. He was stunned by his casualty, squeezing the thick cotton towel against his chest. Then he realized he had been staring as he turned quickly on his heels, grimacing in embarrassment. So what do you think? Pretty cool spot, huh? Donald's voice from across the room Yeah, great, he caught himself glancing at him through the mirror. Smooth tan skin, chest, bare thighs. Above those bare thighs he swallowed. Then looked at his own reflection, a soggy mop, and sighed heavily before removing his clothes with his back turned. When he was dry enough, he quickly covered himself with a towel around his waist. When he draped his shirt and shorts over the radiator, after he went over to the sink and leaned against the countertop, outside a small window facing the hills, rain still came down hard. It was all he could hear. The tiles were closed, so he had slipped his wet sandals back on, holding onto the edge of the countertop so as not to end up slipping and possibly hitting his head against the ledge. For some reason, I didn't think it rained this time of year over on this end of the globe. Oh sure, Donald chapped. Happened so fast before you know it, you'll find yourself in the middle of a flash flood if you're not careful. There's so little warnings, but the locals have an eye for rain. He explained, drying his hair vigorously. He don't do something else vigorously. After living here a while, you pick up on the signs. What are the signs, he asked. He didn't know it was the country air doing him good. He had felt oddly pleasant in that moment, with the weather, which had remained mild in temperature. Ow, my fucking throat. My throat fucking hurts. Just a little more. Okay.
It's big boy time, motherfucker. It's big boy time. It's big boy time, motherfucker. It's
Okay. He's slowing drying his hair. Where was I? Fuck. Okay. The weather had remained wild in temperature. Despite the capricious storm and his country, he had only seen in a bad movie that did it a little justice. Donald came up to the mirror beside him, tousling his hair this way and that. Well, the most common sign is that funny smell right before the rain. It's called it's called something stupid that's 3 syllables and I can't read it. It smells really earthy and otherwise another fucking 4-syllable word that I don't feel like fucking reading. Indescribable, there we go. A more subtle sign is cloud movement, cloud formation, the direction smoke from chimneys travel. You learn that all from the locals? Yeah, the Nonas love me. He grinned bashfully. Joseph laughed. They told me everything from local gossip to life philosophy. Very wise ladies. No way, I don't believe you, he laughed again. Harder this time. He's gonna be hard. Trying to picture him. A bright crop of hair hovered a good 1.5 feet over a gaggle of Italian grandmothers. Arms crossed and deeply invested in a story about how the cows got out that one time last summer. Oh, believe it, Joe. He looked at him, turning on the sink. Joseph folded his arms over his chest, looking down at the man as he cupped the running stream, bringing it up to splash his face. And that's like 3 fucking syllables. I don't want to read it. Where? Oh, I fucking lost it too. His face, then sporadically he flicked the water in his direction. There we go. Come on, Joseph flinched away, all in vain. I just dried off. He could hear Donald laughing, and then he managed to look up at him. He moved closer for a second. Finally, fucking sex. For a second, blinked stupidly as the man's fingers came up slowly to grasp his jaw. Donald Joseph stood there as he then proceeded to close it until his breath feathered over his top lip, and before you know it, he was being kissed right on the mouth by Donald Trump. He was pushed against the ledge of the sink, knocking over the bottles of... I don't fucking know nor care. They knocked over bottles, that's what you gotta know, on the counter. Some clattered to the floor, and rubber of his sandals squeaked horribly against the wet tiles, and Donald let out a soft, satisfied grunt, grasping his hips and bringing him flush against him. Joseph's stomach flipped, and he opened his eyes wide, feeling the pressure of what only their tail separated now present on his thighs. Hey now, he spoke against Donald's lips through labored breathing, at all once as if that action had burned him. He suddenly pulled away. Wait a minute, he warned, putting a space between them. Donald fell back against the sink basin, looking flustered as he rubbed the back of his neck, cheeks like red blossoms. Joseph said nothing more, nor did he look at him as he retrieved his clothes from the radiator. They weren't even dry, but he didn't wish to stay any longer. Then he finally did face him, when he stood at the door, his heart pounding. Come on, he shrugged, feeling a little guiltily as the discomfort grew. It's destructive. It isn't, right? Don't give me that, Donald replied, frustrated. And don't think I'm oblivious to the way you've been checking me out, he went on, this expression bitter. Do you think that's fair? Look, I didn't mean for what? Didn't mean for this to happen, he interrupted. In the face of Donald's distress, he finally appeared more human than he ever thought him capable of in the little time they'd known each other. It's only trouble he dared to look at him, finding that now he appeared to just like the rest of them, William and Julie and Maggie. Anger and frustration and sadness, regret, emotions out of control. He felt a sort of twisted or even a possessive kind of pride towards knowing he was the thing to make him finally crack his cool visage. Therefore, he couldn't say he wanted to apologize for it. Well, fuck you, Donald said softly with so much disappointment, looking down at the bathroom floor as he leaned against the sink. Joseph had stopped for a moment, allow himself closure, and decided that he was a coward. Yeah, he mumbled, turning and walking out the door. It's done. That's all the chapters. It's not finished. I didn't get to see steamy, tense sex like it promised. It clickbaited me, and I don't fucking care. That's the video, guys. You fuck with it? You fuck with that? I hope you did. And how long is this thing going for? 1 hour and 21. Yeah, that checks out. Fucking kill me. Bye. Fuck. Fucking hate chicken. Just kidding. I love chicken. Homie the Rat Dildo is coming soon. Have